happens to be more of a legacy player. He's actually well known for playing Merfolk. He has a Legacy Open top 8 this past year with Merfolk. So kudos to him on a standard showing as well. Dan Gillis is playing mono red, and nothing really to see here. He has kept the Stone Rights, the much maligned Stone Right. But there he is. There he is.
There he is.
He's ready to write some stone.
Breathing fire. It's good. It's a scary card sometimes. In this scenario, I think Scott just needs to survive to get his combo going. So it's it plays almost like one of the older combos where you just need to get to a certain turn where you can finally combo off. And Dan really doesn't have any way to interact with that combo, so to speak.
Yeah, I actually kind of like Stone Right in mono red in this matchup. Obviously, like, there could be some blockers in the way, but if not, it has sort of the same step links functionality for modern in that it's like a tiny creature that's mostly bad but actually kills people very quickly.
Right. I mean, I've died a good handful of times with Stone Right.
Yep.
And it's just I have Lingering Souls, but sometimes you don't have Lingering Souls and you just get run over.
Looks like we have Scott here tanking on his land drop. He's kind of, I assume, wondering whether he wants to take 2 for this Grizzly Salvage or play a tapped Clifftop Retreat for a next turn Faithless Looting.
Right.
And he appears to have landed on the Clifftop Retreat, which I think seems fine. Obviously, taking 2 for the Salvage might find you an untapped land for the Faithless Looting, but probably not. You're probably going to have to play a Stomping Ground or something.
Exactly, yeah. I agree with that play. Shocking yourself is almost like, you don't want to do the job of mono red for him.
No, definitely not.
And another Stone Right. There we go. We're breathing.
He's got the power. I feel like he should get +2/+0 for a pump now. That's some serious Stone Right.
That's a lot of fire breathing power. It's hard to match that.
Scott's going to go ahead and try and set up a pretty.
Oh, this is going to be a good turn.
Pretty big turn. Yeah, he's going to try and fill the graveyard with a Faithless Looting and a Grizzly Salvage.
You should have a red floating with this, so he'll be able to Faithless Looting, like you said, after this, and it's going to be, it's going to get real nasty.
He has an Undercity Informer in his hand, I know for sure. Does he have an Angel or a Rights?
I see. I think the Angel and Rights in there. I think he has both.
Well, the problem is he can't discard all 3.
No. He needs to find a way to get all of them out of here. All right, so he's
going to go ahead and cast the Faithless Looting. He drew another Angel, it looks like. If he had the Rights, I feel like he probably just has to discard Angel Rights here.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has it.
Yeah, I see.
But he doesn't have a land, I think.
Nope. And that's going to be a problem because you assume with that Grizzly Salvage you could be able to hit a land, and he saw no land in those cards, so he's going to have to be pretty fortunate here and get one.
It's actually very reminiscent of how Brian Braun lost the finals of the Atlanta Standard Open. He kept, one of those like double draw hands. And
I saw it on Twitter. I saw on Twitter. He described it in painstaking detail. Felt bad for him.
On the upside, he's not under incredible pressure. His Emissary is going to either eat a Stone Right here or eat a Burn Spell. Either one of those is a great trade. Right.
This is not a great start for mono red. I mean, one Stone Right's okay. You never want 2. You want to have a slightly better drop on turn 2 than that. And Azel would have been a lot better there, obviously.
So Scott might get the turn he actually needs here. And next turn, he's got that Emissary. He can go Emissary into a Faithless Looting, go ahead and probably find the land, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But at a minimum, also fill up the graveyard so that he's just comboing off on the spot.
Right. I think he's 1 turn away after next turn, so 2 turns from winning the game here. He doesn't even attack with the Stone Rights, and that's it's understandable because he's not going to get anywhere with them.
Yep.
You'll have to waste mana and pump it into the Emissary.
So Scott found his land. He can go to 14 to get a pretty good board, but not a combo.
Right.
Do you do it or do you Faithless Looting? Like, you're not under a lot of pressure here. I think it's fine to wait, right?
Yeah, 16 life, I would Faithless Looting, 100%. It's a guaranteed win rather than, an iffy win.
Ostensibly, Dan might be able to hold open a Searing Spear or something like that to kind of juke you, but...
Oh, he's going to wait.
He's not going to do the Faithless Looting. No, he's just going to do it this way.
He's going to make the board impenetrable here.
I think this is a fine line too, actually.
Yeah.
It makes Dan, if he has those burn spells, like he has to start playing them if he wants to break through anyway.
Yeah, I don't like it. Dan can't really do a draw go with Scott here with 2 open for Searing Spear. That's not a winning strategy.
Exactly.
So Dan's in a world of hurt here. And I'm looking at Dan's sideboard, and there's, again, not much anti-combo action mono red can really do here.
No, I think if I'm him, I'm probably willing to bring in like Madcap skills
and Volcanic Strength,
which is an interesting sideboard card for him, and maybe Volcanic Strength. That's a lot of auras, but your Brimstone Volleys are at an all-time low.
Yeah.
Like unless he's at 5 when he combos and you have 3 up, it's just not going to do enough.
And he's noticing that Stone Right's not really the stones here at all. So So he's thinking. He's probably going to tap out, play another creature, and then
if he does that, he'll likely be dead on the spot. If Scott draws a land, it'll be over instantly.
I think it's looked like he motioned to go, but I don't think he's saying go. He's trying to figure out the combo here.
He's concerned about the wrong one, I think.
Right. Now that's not the card you need to look at.
Obviously, more Barrigmos is sweet and all, but once that Informer's in the graveyard, Scott can actually create an infinite loop by returning Angel of Glory's Rise to play with Unbarrow Rights, targeting it with the Fiend Hunter that it in turn brings back, while using the mana from Burning Tree Emissary and to fuel an Undercity Informer, sacrificing his other guys, including the Fiend Hunter, which will return the Angel to play and wash, rinse, repeat for those of you at home.
Yeah, combos, like even this one, take me a little bit to get my mind around it, but he's just going to auto go for it here. He's going to take his 3, and this should be it.
Yeah, he doesn't need the land that we mentioned last turn because the Burning Tree Emissary will actually give him 1 extra mana to start going off with, and now he's explaining that exact combo to Dan. This is what I'm going to do.
Sack this guy here with it on the stack. Angel resolves. Brings them all back.
Mill you out.
Take your whole
That'll do it. This innovation to the list, I'm not sure where it originated. I know that we saw, obviously, Brad and BBD in Atlanta with Human Reanimator. But this version running the Burning Tree Emissary Undercity Informer interaction, I think it might have been Team Panic. I know I first saw it at the Pro Tour group running it.
It's definitely a lot better. That Burning Tree Emissary allows you to just have the mana, empty out your hand, and be able to play all the spells you want to play.
You may also remember this list from Grand Prix Quebec City, where I'm pretty sure it landed in 2nd place, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and quickly look up who we actually had for that one.
While you do that, I'm going to just look at the sideboard, and like we said, the red player really doesn't have much. Dan here is limited in his. He can put more pressure on him with the auras that allow him to get through his blockers here. But Scott has Abrupt Decay, Huntmaster of the Fells ×4, and 4 Cathedral Sanctifier. He is anti-aggro to the T here.
Yeah, the Sanctifiers are huge in this matchup.
Right.
The Huntmasters are certainly no slouches either.
I don't see. I don't know what he boards out for that many cards. There's a lot of cards to board out. Obviously, he doesn't need to board Morgamos.
It's possible that he gets rid of the Undercity Informer Burning Tree Emissary combo, like just gets rid of the Informers. Like Huntmaster can also provide a combo kill in the same way the Undercity Informer can, and it's a much better creature in the matchup.
Yeah, you get infinite dudes there. Also, in the Cathedral Sanctifier, bringing all those back after milling them all in the graveyard is gain 100 life here. It's going to be real tough for a red deck to overcome that.
It was Suching Kuo in the finals of Quebec City. I believe Chinese Taipei World Cup captain.
Your knowledge in this topic is much higher than mine. I knew Todd and Brad coming into today, and Joey was telling me about all these other name players here, and I learned a little something. So.
Oh, good.
Yeah. His deck is a nice little innovation. This is the part of my brain that doesn't work. Can't really craft decks like this, but I mean, it's good. I think Angel's Glory's Rise, once they figured out that you can bring back all humans, they figured out lots of different things you can do with that interaction.
Looking here, I'm seeing Kuo attributed the deck to Team MTG Mint card.
Okay.
Which includes a number of names you might recognize from the Asian community: Chapman Sim, Li Shiqian, Alan Lamb, and himself, among others. And he also mentioned what changes would he make to his deck or sideboard after losing in the finals? No need. Our deck is perfect.
And he's modest to boot. There we go.
Exactly.
A little modesty goes a long way.
Good to know. I'm curious if Scott decided to disagree with Kuo. I'm going to quote some deck list now. And it appears he did. Board Barrigmos, not in that deck. Huntmaster was in the main for Kuo, so he's switched a few things up for sure.
Yeah, I don't think you need the Enraged Fella. I think he probably has reasons why he's playing it, but I think if that's your goal to bring him back, then your other cards really don't interact with it as well. I don't think you need it. I think your 4/4/4/4/4/4 package of creatures is enough to get your one of each that you need in the graveyard.
The biggest change Scott made was going to Avacyn's Pilgrim as opposed to Farseek. That's basically the big shift.
I think that's a pretty good change. I think it allows you to play turn 2 Fiend Hunter when you need it, to play Informers out, to get them out to block against aggro decks, and then eventually, it's a better accelerant to Farseek, I think.
We've really seen the strength of the one-drop accelerants in Standard recently. Obviously, the Prime Speaker Bant list going around, but one of the reasons that deck is even good is has the full 8 one-drops plus Farseeks.
Yep.
You're just trying to play a 5-drop on turn 3 or maybe 4 at the latest.
Especially a Garrick on turn 3. It's pretty impossible to beat. That's the one of the not the Relentless variety, the Primal Hunter.
Primal Hunter, yeah. Garrick Primal Hunter on turn 3 is a pretty big game, especially because you can immediately convert it into cards against opponents who might be able to pressure it. But very few opponents can pressure it once it's made that defensive beast on turn 3.
Right.
Even Mono Red is going to be hard pressed without having been on the play. Deployed something like a Boros Reckoner to just guarantee you're getting through.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I can't put this. I always try to power level these decks, and I don't see Dan having an advantage in this matchup, especially after board. He's going to need to have a draw that's so explosive with a Hell Rider to top it off to have a shot against Scott here. This Magic, anything can happen, but I think Scott's going to have to go down a couple cards here to make it happen.
I think Dan might be a slight favorite in game 1s, especially if he can get on the play. But his hand was pretty anemic in that game, and Scott was able to get one, and taking one of the sideboarded games should be pretty easy for Scott. He has such a sideboard for this matchup, and
almost all his cards gain life. Almost, and we know how good life gain is in this format. It's just, think about how long the Thragtusk Mirrors were even before the last set came out, and now with Sphinx of Revelation everywhere, it's one of the best abilities in Magic.
We've got one of those Sanctifiers in that hand. I see Cathedral Sanctuary, Grizzly Salvage.
So some black cards, probably some Informers.
I think I see one. Yeah, that's an Informer. Okay, so he did keep in at least some of those. Right. But otherwise his hand is not very good. A bunch of lands. If that Grizzly Salvage isn't awesome, then he might be in trouble. Yeah. But obviously, Grizzly Salvage can be pretty awesome in this deck.
I guess Scott on the draw is saying that 1 mana Cathedral or Sanctifier is enough to keep against this red deck. So
it should be buying him a turn, maybe like a turn and a half. Yeah. I don't think it's ever going to buy like a full 2 or anything.
No. Unless Dan left in these Stone Rights, which I don't think he did. At least on the full 4 of them.
No, I'm actually not that excited by Scott's hand, even though it has like a bit of a 1-2-3. I think it's like a fine keep, but not an exciting one.
Exactly. He's still missing a lot of pieces, and he doesn't have. You have to assume he has 4 Hunt Master. I'd like to see one of those in the opening hand.
I don't think he has a land that can cast a Hunt Master, which is kind of an issue. Like, I would actually be fine keeping that hand if it had a land that could cast a Hunt Master, because when the Salvage finds one, you just take it, and now you have a 1-2-3-4, and all of your cards are quite good on curve.
I agree, yes. I think that now you're going to be pressed to take the land instead of the spell you're going to need off the Salvage, which is going to hurt. So Dan goes to 6, and we'll see if he keeps it. Going to 5 here would be pretty brutal. And I think he's going to 5 here.
He's going to 5. Well, Scott's 7 is looking much stronger now.
Right. Whenever your opponent goes to 5, it's just your opponent keeps a 7. It's pretty rough. It's hard to bounce back from that.
Mono Red is definitely not one of the decks capable of doing it especially well. Dan's case, he's just going to want a real fast curve and hope that Scott has nothing. As we know, Scott has exactly one thing, really.
Yeah, he has one thing, one good thing.
It's entirely possible Dan could just get there with, a 2-land, 3-creature keep here, like Cackler, Zealot, has 2 more creatures after that somehow.
Yep. I see victory with Hell Rider at the end of the tunnel, and that's kind of what Mono Red caps off with. That's the power behind Mono Red.
Definitely. As the deck is trimmed down, cut out the stuff like Thundermaw Hellkites, we just lost all those guys. Now Hell Rider's the top of the curve, or if you're running, I know the Team Panic red list from the Pro Tour, they topped out at Boros Reckoner. They just went to 18 lands and got rid of that 4-drop.
Even a lot of the Naya Blitz decks, you see it. They cut Hell Rider. It's just gone, and their top is Boros Reckoner, like you said. You just want to focus on the early stuff. I'm surprised at the drop in popularity of Hellkite. I haven't seen a lot this tournament at all. It's very few. When it was the craze not too long ago.
It was
everywhere.
It's also peculiar because Lingering Souls has dropped off at the same time, and you would kind of assume that those cards exist in limbo with one another.
Yeah.
While one's popular, the other's not. But instead, they're just both not popular.
They both just die and they come back together. It's odd. All right, so he keeps it. It looks like he has a 3-land hand on his Mold of 5.
I thought I saw 2.
Or 2.
Yeah, I know he has a Reckoner, a Mortars, and something else.
He has a 3rd land now. I think he drew that land, so now he's up to 3 land.
Yeah. So this hand is definitely pretty slow. I'm surprised to see Mortars. He clearly brought them in from the sideboard. Not an exciting card in the matchup.
Especially as a sorcerer, you're not going to be able to really disrupt them. So a Grizzly Salvage.
He did hit a Huntmaster and a red land, as we actually predicted.
Yeah, I think Scott got lucky, and I think he drew a Caverns, so he'll be able to cast a Huntmaster.
Oh, well, in that case, I would just snap this Huntmaster. I'm kind of wondering what the 5th card we can't see is.
Yes.
Otherwise, this decision seems pretty easy.
Yeah, definitely.
I see 3 lands, a Huntmaster, and something else, right?
Yeah, I can't see. I see.
And the zoom is a little embarrassing.
I see shiny things. So he's going to take something shiny here. I think, it's definitely the Huntmaster.
Unless that 5th card is...
Oh, he's taking the
it's a
Stomping
Cathedral
Ground.
Sanctifier, not a land. Okay.
Take the Stomping Ground. He has a Cavern, so...
Does he for sure have a card?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Let me see when he goes through here. When he flips through his hand, I'm pretty sure the card right behind it is Caverns. The last card there?
He did draw a Cavern. That's really peculiar that he took... Oh, he has a Faithless Looting.
Okay.
We may have misseen something then.
Yeah.
Or no, he's had 2 draw steps. Those were his draw steps. Faithless Looting, Cavern. Okay. So yeah, those affected his choice significantly. Obviously, Faithless Looting's the most powerful card in his deck, just in an objective sense.
Right. And on a mold of 5, Fiend Hunter against Boris Reckoner is a dagger to the chest there.
That Mortars is at least going to come in handy.
Yep, there we go. He knew. He next leveled us there. He's going to kill the Fiend Hunter, get his guy back, unless he has a Hell Rider, which he does.
Yep.
And he'll attack with Hell Rider.
Getting the threat on the board, obviously, significantly better.
Right.
This, especially when he knows Scott has taken a Stomping Ground. I think he can kind of assume that a Faithless Looting might be forthcoming, or another Huntmaster, one of the two, and Hell Rider's better against both.
Right. And like we talked about, the Sanctifier is going to definitely buy some time here. I drew a Burning Tree Emissary, so he's going to be able to play the Burning Tree Emissary, play a Sanctifier, but I don't see him having... He doesn't have the Angel yet.
No, I think I just Emissary Informer this turn.
Yeah, you do that too,
It's not intimidating, but it's, you got a bunch of creatures on the board.
Right.
Now you can threaten to double block Hell Rider. Even if he has a burn spell, it's not that bad a deal.
Because your guys are expendable, definitely.
Yeah. Going into attrition mode against an opponent on a mulligan is great because you have more cards than they do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's good to have an attrition war when you have more bullets in your gun. That's definitely the case. So I think Dan here obviously has a mortar, so he's going to have maybe a mortar's pre-combat to clear the way.
I think you can Mortars here. There may, depending on his other cards, also be some merit to sitting and sandbagging if there isn't an Burial Rites in the graveyard, which I don't think there is.
An overloaded Mortars. If he has a 5th land, I think you definitely wait. If he doesn't, then he needs some other, at least some pressure here.
Right.
Because a go here is just not acceptable.
I think he's debating the merits between holding on the Mortars or casting it now. It looks like he has another Reckoner. I think I might be inclined to just play a Reckoner and hope for a better attack next turn.
I would also play it. Problem is Scott's board. He knows that Scott's just going to keep increasing the amount of threats on his board. So it's going to be hard to get through regardless. Dan's kind of in a pickle. He might need the Mortars as the only way to get through that army.
Undercity Informer is obviously very threatening from the Reanimator deck because it can also target Scott, filling his graveyard, getting him to that combo, which could kill Dan on the spot next turn. So it's a very realistic possibility Scott just, mills 2 cards off the top and their Angel of Barrel Rights and the game's over on the spot.
I've seen less crazy things. So he has a Brimstone Volley. So he had the trick that we talked about. He didn't need to waste the Mortars here. Here comes a Fiend Hunter again, I think, on the Hell Rider, and he doesn't have a 3rd white here. Oh, he does have a Cavern Soul, so he can play both the Fiend Hunter and the Core Sanctifier here.
Yep.
Or Cathedral Sanctifier, excuse me. Oh, you can hold the Caverns. Again, we're just kind of waiting to see how Scott draws. It really depends on that.
Yeah, I think that Dan's probably going to shift to that Mortars plan now. If he does, I think he does it. Yeah, he has a Reckoner, so probably just play the Reckoner pass. Oh, well, Ash Zealot's actually not a bad one to play here either. You can't attack with it, obviously.
But he knows he's going to flashback Faithless Looting next turn. So.
Exactly. It shuts that off.
Yeah. He can do that. Yeah, he can definitely play that, and he can also, he can play that, kill the Fiend Hunter, get Hell Rider back. Attack with both.
Make a good attack. Yeah, I think that's actually a better line too.
Yeah, let's go ahead and see if he goes through with this series.
I think you're right. That's what he's going to go for.
Yeah, because I don't think Scott shouldn't have attacked with his Fiend Hunter there because he's not going to kill him with damage.
Right. It was pretty loose value, and now he's taken a bundle as a result of that minor greed.
Yeah.
He took 4 that turn, falls to 12.
He's going to go to 9 here when he flies that looting.
Yep.
He's going straight there.
And Dan actually has a lot of draws that can win the game if Scott doesn't
point
get
it out
there himself. Ooh.
Don't think he pointed it out.
We'll have to see for the life total update. Yeah, if Dan missed this damage.
He did not say. I know he didn't motion with his hand, so it had to be verbal.
Yeah, we'll have to get a confirmation there.
Now the new rules, he has until there's a change in phase or a change in where it cannot be corrected. Is that the new rules?
Well, we'll see where this Cathedral Sanctifier puts him, and I think that'll go. I'm not all that up on it. I'm not sure how life total changes are compared to the invisible triggers.
Right. I think you have until the next phase, passive priority. You don't have to do it immediately, but it can be within the same genre of time. Oh, now he's trying to say he took 3. Okay, so this might be too late. We'll find out.
It's possible that they noticed their life pads are different at this stage, and that's what the discussion is. Like Scott's like, I'm at 15, and Dan's like, no, you're at 12.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Which, if he wrote it down on his pad, it would probably be enough to uphold it because that indicates an awareness of the trigger.
Right. If Dan wrote it down, it definitely holds for his favor there. So we don't know his life total yet.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get confirmation on that life total.
Assume he's at 12 currently. 10 after this attack. Oh, so yeah, they did take the 3 away from him. So he's back down to 7, looks like, after taking the Ash Zealot or blocking the Ash Zealot and taking the Hell Rider.
Yeah, note that Scott held on to Unburial Rights. He's casting it for value this time around.
For Huntmaster here, I'm assuming. Interesting how he didn't block with the Cathedral Sanctifier. I guess he's going to wait for a double block that's favorable for him.
Yeah, I think he's hoping to set up Wolf Token Sanctifier so that he doesn't have to give away the Fiend Hunter.
Yeah, and that's reasonable. So Scott is out of cards. He has Unburial Rights in the yard, but Azazel is keeping that kind of hush-hush right now. He only has I think he only has a Undercity Informer in the yard that he can get back.
Yeah, Dan drew a Mountain. He's going to cast his Boros Reckoner this turn, I think. Oh, he has another spell still. He still has the Mortars?
He used the Mortars. He might have drawn another one.
Yeah, if we have 2, then that's actually a pretty big game now.
Yeah. So you can't really see the card in his hand. I think it's a burn spell.
Yeah.
It's a red spell. It's not a creature.
Well, if he had a Mortars, I think it's also pretty credible to just attack with everything and then post-combat kill the last guy.
Yeah, see what happens, definitely.
Yeah.
You don't want a Huntmaster flipped on you, killing your guys and stuff. That's definitely going to that's probably going to be the target. I don't see him blocking with Huntmaster.
Right. He's going to attack. He's going to force Scott to make a decision on which creatures he's going to try and preserve.
And he's doing the play we suspected earlier.
Exactly what we expected. Now, the downside to this play of waiting, assuming... I feel kind of silly, but assuming that was another burn spell in his hand, the downside to this play is he does get that 2 damage from Ash Zealot blocked, as opposed to if he had just killed the guy if he could.
Right. Getting his Reckoner back, too.
It's a Brimstone Volley, not a Mortars, so that's pretty tricky, actually.
So he's trying to give him the old KO here.
Yeah, he should probably just put him to 5, right
and
now.
then play Boros Reckoner and pass. That's what I would do.
No, I mean he put him to 7 with the thing and deal 5 with Brimstone Volley, put him to whatever. No, okay.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So then he can't even use.
Yeah, then he
graveyard.
can't flashback the Unburial Rights. He can't do much of anything.
Well, if he drew a blank here,
because the Ash Zealot's about to die.
Actually, come to think of it, actually, let's see. Upkeep he might be able to. I think he can respond to the Huntmaster.
He can kill the Huntmaster before it becomes a Ravager, yeah, but I don't think he wants to here.
No.
I think he just wants to attack.
I think he's
because that's lethal.
This is lethal, yeah. Because no
there's
matter how
nothing Scott can do.
No, if he blocks with Fiend Hunter, he lives, but that's not a good block at all.
Okay, well this worked out for sure.
Yeah. I think exactly what we talked about happened. Scott kept a hand that didn't have any of the pieces he needed. He didn't draw well, and like you said, that kind of keep is going to be that could punish you in the end.
Yeah, he's going to attack, and Scott is darned if he does, darned if he doesn't really here. The only block he has that will keep him alive is blocking with Fiend Hunter.
Yeah, and I'm sure Scott is not expecting a Brimstone Volley number 2 here. So I think he's going to block. I think he's going to take the 3 and go to 4. I guess and then he's going to get Brimstone Volley because of the Morbid from earlier in the turn.
Yep, the Brimstone Volley is... Oh, I think we forgot.
We forgot about the Morbid.
Oh, the Ash Zealot and Upkeep turned on our Morbid for Brimstone Volley. We had this just We had him dead to rights.
Yep, this game should be over, but we'll see if it remains over here.
That's a tricky interaction, to be fair.
It is.
Morbid can be a difficult thing to remember.
Especially during the upkeep, you don't think about it.
Looks like he's going for burial rights. I assume targeting a Cathedral Sanctifier. Man, if Scott pulls back into this game, Dan's just going to be kicking himself. Oh, Fiend Hunter. That's actually a lot worse. Well, he still has... I don't even know. I guess you have to get the Reckoner off the board just so you can, live.
Right, yeah. I think I like his... Oh, yeah.
No, he's just saying, I'm going to inset this, untap, and do this.
Scott feels real bad. I'm sure
Yeah.
he was dead to turn that
He's
turn.
like, I was already dead to the first one.
Yeah,
The second one does it too. Okay.
All right, well, Dan wins on a mull to 5.
Yeah, exciting game.
Yeah, and that's magic for you. I think, again, like you said, if you're a combo player and you keep these hands that have no action in them besides one Grizzly Salvage, and then you have a fistful of land, you can end up just dead to rights there.
We definitely saw exactly what having that slight color shortage did to the stomp. Like, you had to keep the stomping ground.
Right.
It's Grizzly Salvage. That's one less Huntmaster you got to cast over the course of the game.
Right.
I think if he gives up on the Faithless Looting and goes for the Huntmaster, maybe that's like a completely different game. For sure, that Hellrider wouldn't have gone around unchecked as long as it did.
Right. And the one attack with the Fiend Hunter there is what caused him to be in such a low life in the first place.
That's true.
He could have been above. Well, he would have died to the second Brimstone Volley, but the first one would have killed him because he would have been at least at 6 because he would have been able to block the ass out with the Fiend Hunter.
I agree. The point of damage just didn't seem worth it at that stage. I think that it's possible Scott would shift to a beatdown role in that game, but at that point in the game, it wasn't clear.
You definitely have to
the
wait till
risks associated are pretty high, especially with Ash Zealot just being like a known quantity.
Right.
You have to be aware of that guy. Lightning Mauler also potentially.
How many haste creatures does Red have? It's just it's too dangerous to do. I mean, he doesn't see his deck list, but we're looking at his deck list, and his lands are 22 mountains, and if your lands are 22 mountains, you're playing haste creatures and almost religiously.
Well, that's landism right there,
yeah,
Shahi.
That is being a landist. No, I have respect for 22 mountain decks. I mean, I would never do it, but more power to those people.
Yeah, they want to burn you to death, so you got to respect them, right?
We talked about how fun it is, and like we talked about, I like playing control, but most people don't like playing control. It's not a fun thing to play. It's not a fun thing to play against for a lot of people. And these are the decks that people have a good time playing. They get to finish their match early, go get some dinner, go get some lunch.
There are definite values to that. One of the other values to control decks I've discovered lately, though, streaming online, if you play these aggro decks, you've got all this time to fill between matches.
That's true.
That's hard content to fill.
That is. You know what I do?
You play a nice control deck.
I tell the streamers, I'm like, I'll be right back. I'm going to go watch some It's Always Sunny or something. So I leave and go watch. So then I come back, I'm like, all right, ready for the next round. And I lose a few viewers.
Yeah, like a few hundred.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, where'd everyone go? Okay.
I try to come up with some time fills in advance, but I always run out when I play the aggro decks. When I play the control decks, it's a lot easier, more relaxing, easy to keep the magic on screen. So that's a little tip for any of you guys interested in streaming, I guess, is you wouldn't really think of it the first time.
And you get to really break down plays a little bit more detail with control decks too. I mean, aggro decks, there are some hard choices to make with overextending and combat, but in the grand scheme of things, when you're drawing 1,000 cards of 6 Revelation, there's venues you can go, 100 different avenues you can take.
Yeah, that's one of the things about control decks is when you get to games to that stage, like very consistently, you can actually take the wrong line in a lot of spots and still win because once you got to the stage where you Sphinx's Revelation for 5, the game is effectively over. You just have to pick one of the ways to win.
Right.
And one of them's for sure better than all the others, but how often is it going to matter?
Right.
Aggro deck doesn't have that luxury.
You make a mistake and that could be it.
Yeah.
One mistake and you're done.
For example, if Dan didn't have that second Brimstone Volley in that game, Scott could get rid of that Reckoner, untap, draw a Cathedral Sanctifier, just suddenly be on 7.
Yeah.
All of a sudden he's unbeatable, from nothing.
And that's something where, we can see on camera, and Dan, I mean, I bet you if a creature died during combat, he would have gone with the Brimstone Volley, but upkeep is tricky. It really is. You don't think about the upkeep dead creatures. So I don't think they re-sideboard anything different. Maybe Dan, I bet you Dan thought the mortars were good, so he's probably going to leave them in.
Yeah, it kind of worked out that game because Scott was on the slow plan with Fiend Hunters, which Mortars is one of the cards that can kill it. Pillar Flame is not exciting in this matchup, so I assume he made that kind of switch. Like, I could see losing the Pillars for Mizium Mortars and Madcap skills. Like,
how about Skullcrack? Maybe with all the Sanctifiers that he saw in the
I think he might bring in some Skullcracks now, but I don't know how good they actually are.
Right, me neither, but it seems like a kind of a reaction to when your opponent gains life, you're bringing Skullcrack.
Yeah. If Scott tries to go for infinite life, it's possible he could get, accidentally colded by a Skullcrack. Obviously, that interaction involves Cathedral Sanctifier, Fiend Hunter, Angel of Glory's Rise.
Absolutely, yeah. I think Scott's on he's on the land light hand. I think it's kind of zoomed out right now. I think he has a Sunpetal Grove and maybe one more land, and that's it. Or maybe just a Sunpetal Grove, and that's it.
One of the other interesting interactions you have to keep in mind against decks like this Human Reanimator deck is if they are trying to mill you to death, you can kill them in your upkeep before you draw, which I've seen happen a lot in Legacy.
Right.
It comes up where you can like Snapcaster a Lightning Bolt or something like that. But in this format, it's very possible too. It gives Dan a little bit of a luxury where he can tap out on his turn to be aggressive.
Yeah.
And if he has something like a Brimstone Volley available in the grip, then during the upkeep, just send it upstairs.
I like that. Yeah, it's something that people miss too. Definitely.
A very common error.
All right, let's see. So I think the hand is light on land. We're about to find out. Oh, but here we go.
That's the best one drop we can have.
That is. And he kept it. All right, he has 2 lands, and he drew a Burning Tree Emissary. I don't know what he can go with that, but he is super land light, as you can tell.
Yeah.
He has just the 2 lands.
He has all the pieces in this hand, but none of the ways to get them in the graveyard. I actually don't like this keep.
No, I would mulligan this because if you had 3 land, I'd keep it because you're only required to draw 1 more for the game, for the Huntmaster and at least survivability. Here, if he doesn't draw a land here, all right, well, he drew a Sanctifier, which is, I think...
It's basically a free turn.
Is it a core or is it a creature?
It is a human cleric.
It's a human cleric, so he cannot block the noble here.
Other than Bor Brigmos, Scott does not have any creatures capable of blocking Stromkirk Noble in his entire deck, but barring a wolf token from Huntmaster.
There we go.
Here it looks like he's going to go ahead and prep for a potential, obviously he's not expecting Ash Zealot, but a Hellrider on the next turn could be bad. He can also just, attack for 4.
I like this play a lot. I think he needs to. If he had both these in his hand the turn before, I might have taken 2 and played them out as maybe a Hail Mary to erase them if I don't hit my land drops. All right,
Ash Zealot is held off. Wow, he must have drawn that this turn, of course, as Dan passed.
And Scott, again, is just not drawing the land, and we're about to see if he doesn't draw any land here, he is going to be scraping for a victory.
If he can find a white source in short order and get that Noble off the board, at least for a little while, he'll probably be able to take control. But Dan's hand still has like 4 spells in it, so...
Yeah, this is not looking good, and it's not, it's one of those... Any deck you play, keeping the 2 land, if you're not a super aggressive deck, is nearly always a 50-50 gamble there. Sure, if you draw a 3rd land, you're made in the shade, but if you don't, it's hard to play Magic. I personally like to play Magic, so I like to log in this hand.
Big fan of playing Magic?
Yeah, I find it embarrassing when I can't cast my spells, so...
I see a Brimstone Volley, a Hellrider. He might have 2 Hellriders. In that case, this game could get really exciting really fast.
If he has 2 Hellriders...
If he has 2, I think I just play a Hellrider and just send the Stromkirk Noble, actually.
Yeah, definitely. It's just another damage. I mean, it's another counter here.
Because you get a bunch more damage on the next turn, if that's how you run it.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think you're right. Do you see a second?
Yeah, I think we just send the Noble in. Get our 4 damage, put him to 16.
Oh, no, yeah, he's going to lose his Hellrider here. I don't like that at all.
I haven't done the math on it, so it's possible that this is a better line. He is going to lose the Hellrider, though.
I think he should. Yeah, so he's going to lose the Hellrider, but it only trades with the Burning Tree Emissary. And if he has a second Hellrider, it's guaranteed more damage next turn.
That's the issue I have with this line, is that you're going to lose the second Hellrider, too. Because now he has lethal blocks for that particular guy.
Right.
But it's possible it won't matter. Oh, I think he just drew a 3rd one. Jeez. That'll probably just be enough to nail this game down.
Like we said earlier, Hellrider's the key to victory for this deck.
Pillar Flame, he kept those in too. Well, with a pillar in his hand, this attack makes much more sense.
I can't see...
that's what we call a boatload of damage in the business.
I can't even count that high, to be honest, so I'm just going to assume this.
Well, you're not used to dealing that much. This puts Scott to 1 if he doesn't block. I believe it'll put him to 4 if he does. I could be wrong, but that leaves him basically drawing dead.
Dan basically played a combo deck here.
He comboed 6 spells with his opponent's face.
Yeah. In my mind, it's a combo deck. I think it was infinite damage, if I calculate correctly.